Good evening, darlings and deviants. My name is Lucy, and I'm just a little loony. And welcome back to my review of all of the cards that have been released in Lorcana up until now. Again, keep in mind, this one is a bit relevant for Emerald as well. I'm only going over the cards that are officially released. I'm not going over anything that is, unknown, that we don't know lore values for. I'm specifically going over everything that we know so far. Today we're covering Emerald. This video might be a bit shorter. They've been cutting us on Emerald reviews. I'm very sad about that. It's my favorite ink color, so sigh. Anyway, without further ado, let's start the show. Let's start on off with the characters with Cruella de Vil, miserable as usual. For 2 cost, you get a 1 strength, 3 willpower, 1 lore storyborn villain with You'll Be Sorry. When this character is challenged and banished, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. This card is very good because on the one hand, you can definitely do some shenanigans with it. You can bounce some of your cards that have good enters play abilities, or you can bounce their troublesome big cost things. Very tempo heavy card because you just keep questing with it and they have to remove it eventually or they just lose. On the other hand, her stats are very low and there's not a whole lot of cost for them doing that, and she only quests for 1. In that case, I'm going to give her a 3.5 out of 5 top hats. Again, top hats because I have a top hat. The main reason she's as low as she is because even in the villain deck, she's only 1 lore, and Hades likes when his villains stick around. So I'm not super fan of that 3 willpower. It's not a whole lot. Next up we have Aladdin, Prince Ali. For 2 cost, you get a storyborn hero prince with 2 strength, 2 willpower, 1 lore, and ward. Opponents can't choose this character except the challenge. This card is very good, especially if you're playing Emerald Ruby. One of the main reasons for that is because the Shift Aladdin is pretty expensive, and you would very much want an Aladdin to shift onto. While we don't have a normal Aladdin yet, we don't have a Ruby one, we don't know what any of the other ones would do. This one has ward, so as long as you don't quest with him, like all willy-nilly, you have a almost guaranteed way of having your Shift Aladdin coming down to play very quickly. I'm gonna give this one 4.5 top hats out of 5. Shift Aladdin is very good and very powerful, and combining it with some of the other cards that we've seen in Emerald so far, I think that could be very powerful. So we're gonna say 4.5. He's not super strong on his own, but he's very good along with the shift enablers as well. Next up is Iago Loudmouthed Parrot. For 3 cost, you get a storyborn ally with 1 strength, 4 willpower, and 1 lore. With You Got a Problem? For an exert, chosen character gains reckless during their next turn. They can't quest and they must challenge if able. On the one hand, reckless is very good. It makes it to where your opponent can't win the game in some cases, prevent their key things from questing, and forces them into combat with some of your best cards. Unfortunately, you're exerting Iago to do so, and Iago is a pretty easy target. So, if you're looking to just stall for time, Iago's fine. And hey, if they leave him up, you can do it all over again. But at the same time, you're not questing with Iago if you're doing this. You're not really advancing your board state. I'm gonna give Iago 3 out of 5 top hats. He's okay. I can see him being a key in decks that want things to be challenging all the time. But if you don't really have that, and we don't have that many cards revealed that support that strategy yet, I think Iago might fall to the wayside. Not being able to quest for a lot, not being able to trade for a lot makes him very specific and niche, and I don't think he's going to see the play that he needs. Next up is Mickey Mouse Stormboat Pilot. For 3 cost, you get a storyborn hero captain with 3 strength, 4 willpower, and 1 lore. He's okay. I'm gonna put him at 2.5 top hats for now. He's a vanilla, he's a workhorse, he does what he needs to do, but he's not, again, we don't know if we want to use that many vanillas yet, because we haven't seen all the cards. So I'm gonna be on the more, we'll say conservative side, and give him 2.5. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna go ahead and give him 2. I'm not a huge fan of vanillas on their own, unless they are in a color that kind of helps it out a bit. And with Emerald, considering you want the things that you're challenging to be, you know, your effect cards, like Cruella de Vil, for instance, when you have a tempting target like Mickey Mouse Steamboat Pilot that they can challenge instead of other things, I think he makes him a bit worse. Next up is Cheshire Cat, not all there. For 3 cost, you get a Storyborn. Nothing. Well, that is kind of accurate to who he is. For 0 strength, 3 willpower, and 2 lore for lose something? When this character is challenged and banished, banish the challenging character. This is just very good. It gives you 2 lore and gives your opponent a choice. Either let me keep questing for 2 lore, getting me 1/10 of the way to win each turn, or lose the card that is at least 3 strength to deal with this. I'm gonna give him 3.5 out of 5. That might be blasphemy. The Cheshire Cat is one of my favorite. I love Alice in Wonderland, but he's kind of a one-shot. He's more of a removal spell than a character itself. Next up is Beast, Wolfsbane. For 5 cost, you get a Dreamborn Hero Prince for 4 strength, 4 willpower, and 2 lore. With Rush, this character can challenge the turn they're played, and Roar. When you play this character, exert all opposing damaged characters. This card's amazing. I'm going to go ahead and give him a 5 out of 5 top hats because he's just insane. Being able to exert all opposing damaged characters is great. They can't really protect the cards that have like a little bit of health left, and it lets your Beast finish off anything that they have left. So say you've built up a board, you have a couple of characters out, you just tap them all down and you go in for the kill. Well, go in for the challenge, don't want to actually kill anybody. Next up is Jumba Jukiba, Renegade Scientist. For 5 cost, you get a Dreamborn Alien Inventor with 4 strength, 5 willpower, and 2 lore. Once again, this is a vanilla in Emerald. I'm not a huge fan of Jumba, but I'm actually going to give him 3.5 top hats out of 5 because 2 lore is great, and he's a little bit tankier than the Mickey Mouse is. Being 4 strength trades up with a lot of stuff, and that makes it a little bit challenging since he has 5 willpower as well. And 2 lore is nothing to scoff at. That is 1/10 of the way to get to the win, by the way. So I'm going to go ahead and give him 3.5. I think he's a bit better than Mickey Mouse is in this color. Next up we have Genie on the Job. For 6 cost, you get a Storyborn Ally with 3 strength, 4 willpower, and 2 lore with Evasive. Only characters with Evasive can challenge this character. And he has Disappear. When you play this character, you may return chosen character to their player's hand. This one, it's 5 out of 5 from me, easy. Being able to tempo out and bounce a character is fantastic, especially because Genie has Evasive. Evasive makes him hard to deal with. They might just not have a way to deal with it, or you might bounce the way they were able to deal with your evasive threats. So, with addition of 2 lore and a pretty hefty 4 willpower, that's not nothing to sneeze at for an evasive character rather. I think this card's great. 5 out of 5. Next up is Lady Tremaine, Wicked Stepmother. For 6 cost, you get a Dreamborn villain with 1 strength, 5 willpower, 1 lore, and do it again! When you play this character, you may return an action card from your discard to your hand. I am torn on Lady Tremaine. For 1, she's very expensive for her stats being middling at best. However, repeating actions, especially since songs are a mechanic and are actions in this game, is very powerful. But the actions that we have range from draw 2 cards, which is not bad, but it's pretty okay. But it's not like what you want to be doing for 6 ink at any given point in time, to something like Let It Go, which is very powerful, but it's very slow, you're ramping your opponent. Yeah, she has a lot of hemming and hawing on how good she is. I'm gonna end up saying that she is a 4 out of 5, very dubiously, mostly because as this game goes on, anytime there's a super strong action, Lady Tremaine gets better. If actions continue to be around the same level of power level that we've seen so far, which is at most being a removal spell, she's not super great. But considering I've seen a couple of card games come and go by now, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a pretty powerful action at least sometime in the future. So I'm going to take let's actually split the rating in twain for this one. Right now I think she's about a 3 out of 5. She's okay, but I wouldn't run her over some of the other cards in this list. Like I wouldn't run her over Genie, for instance, if they're both fighting for that same slot. But I would run her later on if we get some stronger actions. She would be a 4 out of 5 top hats from me. Very strong, very powerful, but it really depends on the action pool that we have access to. We're rounding out with The Beast Is Mine. For 3 cost, you get an action with chosen character gains Reckless during their next turn. They can't quest and must challenge if able. I'm going to give this card 4 top hats out of 5, mostly because Reckless makes it to where it's possible your opponent may not be able to win the game anymore. For example, say, for instance, you have the Genie out like we had before. If you make one of their characters Reckless, they can't quest, no matter what. But they also might not be able to challenge your board and get rid of your threats. So, Reckless is just a really powerful thing to give to your opponents. And I think that'll make it a lot better than it is. Being inkable as well also makes it good. It's sort of a kind of removal spell, kind of a disruption tool. Very tricky like I see Emerald being, and I really enjoy it. Anyway, that's all of the Emerald cards that we've seen so far. Sorry if it was a bit of a shorter video, but they just haven't given me that much to work with, I'm sorry. If you have a problem, go talk to the Lorcana team about it. Actually, don't tell them I sent you. That might get me in trouble. Well, do you think I got them all right? Or do you think that I might have missed the mark on a few of these? Let me know down in the comments below. And hey, while you're there, go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe. Lets me know that I'm doing a good job, that you like seeing content like this, and keeps the show moving forward. As always, thank you all so very much for watching, and until next time, au revoir!